Hey, guys, I'm doing a Sunmare control rough draft commander deck for you guys. So the commander is Kenrith. So yeah, so this will be probably a longer video than normal, just because I have a lot of stuff to explain in this video for you guys to understand kind of the concept behind it. So yeah, so I played this Friday night, and during the practice it did fairly well. But for the match, it didn't do a whole lot, so it still has some tweaking to be done and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna just set that aside. So this is the main card that you want to go for with this deck, because it basically just kind of controls the field. And so yeah, so there is help with this, with Ishin, Rolling Throne, and then Windscar, Windcrag, Siege. So these let you help trigger Guardian Sunmare again. So you can do once, twice, or possibly even 3 times. So along with the Sunmare trigger, so you could possibly get like 4 different cards off the one attack, which is pretty crazy. And then there was a new card in the Final Fantasy set that lets you copy the trigger X amount of times, which I did a short over that, which you guys probably saw that. But in case if you didn't, yeah, there is another card that makes Sunmare a lot more busted. So, which we put in here as well. So, but yeah, that's essentially the triggers I have for Guardian Sunmare. So, now for the targets for Guardian Sunmare. So, basically it's an enchantment or a non-land permanent with mana value 3 or less is basically what you want. And so, basically all of these 3 or less non-land permanents basically exile a creature Empire controls or a non-land permanent, basically. One or the other, or like artifact or enchantment or, something along those lines. So let's go through and show you guys which ones are actually in here. So, and then this, you choose, or for each opponent, exile up to 1 non-land permanent that player controls until this leaves the field. So if there's more than one opponent, you choose one thing from each opponent. So, yeah. Sheltered by Ghosts. Chains of Custody. So it adds Ward 2, and then so is this. So be Ward 4, and then on top of the Ward 2 it already has, which would be Ward 6. So it's with Sheltered by Ghosts in this, it really makes it difficult to out by targeting, which means that you have to have a board wipe. Like, okay, so how do you protect against that? Well, I'll show you guys here in a few minutes what my answer is to that. So this, you pay 6 and then you exile non-land permanents. So it's another way of exiling things. It's mainly for buffing, but it has that additional effect too. So, and it also costs 3. So, at least to bring out anyway. So, and so this costs 4. This is 4. And yeah, most of these are, yeah, these 4 are 4 costs. So you cannot do Sunmare with these, but they still help enter the field. So at least threats anyway. So that's why they're in here. So alright, next parts. So this is more, or a few more targets for Sunmare. This just says enchanted creature is a spirit and can attack, and then this one turns it into a land, which is also pretty good. So this will probably be swapped in the future for something else, but Imprisoned by the Moon, or In the Moon, may stay in the deck, just because that's still a pretty good card too. So there's basically all the answers for Guardian Sunmare can bring out. Now, you guys saw that I only have Ward. I was like, okay, so what's your answer for a board wipe? Well, I do have Indestructible that I can search, not off Sunmare, but otherwise to search my deck for things. And then this protects my creature from my punch creatures. So that's also pretty good. Prio is also really good too. This gives hexproof in case if I need it. Another indestructible. This also gives indestructible and hexproof, and then until end turn, and then it has flying, which is also pretty good. Flawless maneuver. This gives indestructible. If I control my commander, I can pay without paying the mana cost. So that's an instant. So I cannot bring it out off shop pack or off Sunmare. So target artifact or creature has hexproof and indestructible. So more protection. As you guys can probably see. So more life gain as well. Ghostly Prison, Propaganda, stuff to prevent attacks anyway. And then Law Spurs, so haste and ward 1, so the Sunmare having ward 6, I would have ward 7. So, but yeah, there's that. And then a few other things that I wanted to go over. So the one issue that I have is I had no win con for the deck, and so I had pretty much fixed that, at least roughly. So my answer to that is this is Infect. Yes, it's not the most exciting way, but it's an answer and it's also a win con basically. So that's one answer to that, and then it also combines really well with this. So this says a creature you can or that is on the field gains horsemanship and +2/+2. And this does not end either, so it's a continuous effect until the creature leaves, basically. So you can just basically put on your Sunmare with the Infect and give it horsemanship, meaning that'll be unblockable. And you can pretty much just kill your opponent with, in just a couple turns, depending on what the power of Sunmare is. So yeah, there's that. So, and then Deadly Rollick, exile target creature, another way of responding to things, and then Orcish Spellmasters, which also deals 1 damage to my opponent whenever they draw a card. So, which is pretty good. So there's that. And then now for the rest of the deck. Like I said, this is a longer video, so but I want to thoroughly explain how this works and kind of the function behind it. So, lands, elixir. This is good to help recycle your enchantments in case of any go to a grave. So there's that. Fetch and shocklands. Cigars, yeah. No, not cigar. Alamari's Call. Search your library for a creature, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So you can search for Guardian Sunmare if you don't already have it in your hand. More protection. More ways of searching. And then this, so at the beginning of your combat, choose up to one target mount or vehicle, and then that performer becomes solid or crude, until end of turn. So this is another way of selling my Sunmare, so that way I don't have to use my commander for doing that. So yeah, because that's what I was doing with the deck, is I was just bring out the Sunmare, bring out the commander, and then I would tap this out of the Sunmare, and then yeah. So just another way of not having to crew everything. And then the next card that I have to show you works with another card that I have in here. Let me find that really quick. There we go. So these two basically work together. So Leyline says all non-land permanents are basically legendary. And this says legendary creatures you control get +2/+1 and have ward 1. So essentially it increases the ward of Sunmare from 7 to 8, and it makes everything legendary. So if there's tokens that your opponent's playing, then all those basically go bye-bye except for 1. So it's just another good answer for a lot of different things, and also makes my Sunmare stronger, and gives it a little more protection. So there's that. And then more lands. Soaring. More lands. Authority consoles. Everything comes in tapped that my opponent plays for creatures. Main thing with this is more protection. Creature control have a power 4 greater. Gain hexproof and indestructible until end turn. So that's the main thing that you really care about with that. And then this, your opponent pays 2 life for each creature that they try to use to attack you with. So, which is pretty good. So, and that affects you and planeswalkers. So, Wildcard Tower, more lands, throw from the cell. So it basically is like target my mount, my Sunmare, and it deals damage to my opponent, or to the opponent's creature. So it's like basically like fighting. So more protection. Imperial Seal. More fighting. More lands. More buffs for my Sunmare, and also haste. More searching. More protection. Protecting myself from my opponents. And yeah. And then Elspeth for the flying and the +1/+1 counter. So that's essentially it for the deck. Thank you for watching, and yeah, hope you guys thought that this was an interesting concept for a horse build. I definitely like the idea behind this, so yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later. Like this.